formed, and they went to Blanding, Florida, and they only had a half a division. And then all of us came to Van Dorn, Mississippi. And from Van Dorn, Mississippi, we relieved the 99th Division, which was the only all-black division in the country. And you talk about having to clean barracks and clean up everything. They were a big bunch of hogs and drunken bunch of niggers you ever met in your life. But they were only there 2 weeks. And I, being a medic, we had to go out every time they got drunk or in trouble and pick them up, take them to Station Hospital. I was never so glad to see the last one get on the train. I don't know where the hell they went, didn't know, until we got to Europe. And they were over there. And they made a name for themselves, because, boy, those guys could shoot guns, and they didn't obey any orders, but anything that moved, they killed. And they made all kinds of records for themselves. But anyhow.
So you were formed up from New York.
All of it, we're all drafted to one place. Now I went in on the Pennsylvania Railroad in Pullman cars. And we had 20 cars on the train. And I have pictures of how we all arrived in Van Dorn, and the history of Van Dorn, and the layout in our hospital, our PX, nurses' home, doctors, medical centers, and our barracks were nothing. You could push your hole through the wall, your hand, finger.
Wow.
We had stoves halfway through them. I was lucky. I had a stove from here to there, the end of my bed. And we had to bring wood and stuff in to burn. And boy, I got up, sit on the end of my bed, and I got that I could sleep down there. And lots of times I got right on the floor and slept on the floor because it was warmer. At night in Mississippi, it gets colder than get out.
So you were drafted when?
August. And
August of 42?
yeah, and then I went directly to Harrisburg, and from Harrisburg I was only there 2 days. And they put me on a train to go to Blanding, Florida. And halfway to Blanding, Florida, the train stopped. And they said, "You're not going to Blanding. Your division that you're going to is leaving Blanding." And we all came into Van Dorn. And I realized that why they were cleaning out the 99th Division. And we moved into there.
So if we step back just a little bit, did you see December 7th of 41 coming? Did you see the war coming?
Oh yeah.
And what were the signs that you saw that you figured the war was coming?
Oh well, our newspaper and all, and the boys that were regular army was already in and was getting ready to fight. They were already in England and going, ready to come in. Now,
In December of 41, before Pearl Harbor.
oh no. Those boys went over there. Part of them, I guess they went to Dix and shipped out like we did.
Okay.
But we didn't ship out until, the funny part of it was, we shipped out on the first day of January in 1944. And the invasion was
June the 6th.
June the 6th in 43. That was, they hit Normandy. My division came in at Marseille in Toulon, and we came to a settlement at Marseille, reorganized, and got all of our equipment off the boats and reorganized. And some of us went in convoy, and the rest of the men, infantry and all, were on a train and started north, and I wondered how far they could go. But in that time, the regular army and divisions ahead of us had already cleared the coast from Normandy, clear to Paris. And after we got to Paris, from there on out to Nancy, France, that's when we went into business. And I was immediately relieved, my Company A, to go over to the 44th Division. They didn't have any medics, and they were in the midst of the war, the medics, and they'd lost a lot of men. So we went over there. I was over there about 3 or 4 weeks. And then I came back with my company, and then we fought in. And different people have said, you got the dates in your logbook there where you started. I said, Nancy, France, into Sagremens, Stuttgart. And all they said, you mean you went into Sagremens? I said, yeah. Well, all the maps and all were in. They said, well, you people take credit for being the division that went through the Siegfried line first. I said, ain't no question about it. Anybody that says it wasn't is a damn liar, because I was there. That was just like everybody said, you know, the Third Army was in Landsberg and got the concentration camp. Well, Blood and Fire has had the story. This past week, I got the story right there. One guy says, this is the honest truth. He's got the dates and times and pictures where we had a sign up that says, we're the first division to go into Sagremens, the Siegfried line. They said you'd never break it. Do you know how we broke the Siegfried line?
Oh.
It was all the way along the German and French border.
Mm-hmm.
It was the tunnels, and they had pillboxes with cannons to guard. And General Harris and General Hibbs was infantry and field artillery, said, that ain't gonna stop us. They said,
Hey babe, I love you. We're here safe. What's up?
I wanted to remind you that tomorrow is a school day.
Okay.
He needs to be fresh for school.
Okay, he studied on the way up, and we're talking with Dave. Say, and I've got you on speaker. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
hi, honey. Hi, Dolly. We're-
They can't stay too long tonight because
That's-
Bobby's got school in the morning.
I know that.
And he has to catch the bus at 6:30.
Okay.
All right, we're breaching the Siegfried line right now. I love you.
We're talking war talk. I'm going to show him some pictures and stuff in a few minutes.
I love you. I love you. I hear you. Okay.
That's what you're doing.
Do what?
Doing just fine. She hears both of your voices.
Hey, babe.
She wonders how you got in the box.
Mom seems empty without her.
I know. We'll bring her home later.
Okay.
Love.
You're taking her out when she comes home.
I'll take her out when I come home. Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Next Friday
All right.
at about 12:30.
Now, our engineers said, let's take this area right here. And you see those pillboxes? Get the artillery to blow the hell out of them, level them, until we had a hole in the ground in it. Right down into their see, there were tunnels and they lived under there. And guess what we did? We covered it up with dirt and blocked it so that our tanks and stuff could go over it. Then we got bazookas and artillery and set them down there, and we shot cannons right down through until they realized what we were doing. We'd penetrated the lines. And then the infantry was given orders, as soon as we shot, they'll be coming out of their pillboxes. And the minute they come out of the pillboxes, they'd let them come out 5 or 10 at a time till they stopped. Then we'd open them with automatic weapons, kill 20, 30 of them at a time. And after we killed about 500 of them, there was no more left. So then we went over the other side and rested for 2 days. And that's when the general got on a loudspeaker. And he said, "We are Blood and Fire. We are here to conquer Germany. We're now in Germany. Now we want your next 2 towns for men, women, and children to put out sheets and surrender. And if you don't, we're going to level your town. If you're smart, you'll get the hell out of town. Because we mean it." And guess what? They decided to go. But you know what that did? The Germans realized they couldn't stop the people leaving town, so they had to back up. And we did level the first 2 towns. And then the Germans started on the run, and we took 500,000 prisoners, and we put big fences around, took them, started to feed them until they got tough and had piles of guns the size of this room, till some of them got loose, and the orders were, shoot every damn one of them. So we shoot so many a day.
500,000 prisoners.
Oh, we have pictures.
500,000.
Yeah. And Hitler knew this was the end coming. And then we got orders from Eisenhower to stand by and take it easy. And that's when the general,
That's not pee,
the
that's
towel's
water.
right there on the counter, left.
Sorry about that.
It's all right, he's done it before.
No, this is just water this time.
Just, come here, babe.
Last time she peed.
She did
A little
one.
bit on the other
Be sure
carpet.
to support her hind legs, Mr. Torcell.
Huh?
Sure to support her hind legs.
Bobby, I'd like you to get her leash and put your coat on and let her go out.
Okay.
And
Hey, baby.
you know how to pick up food?
Yes, sir.
Hey, there's a baby. Hey, baby, baby. Here's a baby, 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 baby. Here's a baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 baby.
Okay. Sorry, turn inside out. Pick it up. Pull to the other side. Zip it up. Take it over. On the porch out there. You don't go anywhere near the street. Like I said, I already got that turned inside out for you.
Mr. Torcell, can you please help me find
Right here.
Here it is.
She hates the leash.
Just put it on, she won't know till after it's on. There you go.
Alright.
Bobby's going to
Good
take
girl.
you. Bobby's
Go
gonna
out.
Take you for a walk.
Go out.
Come on, girl.
Go out. Good girl. Good girl out.
Now, to save time, first I have one book that shows all the pictures of Van Dorn, the formation of boys getting off the train, pictures of all the buildings, the location of them, and so forth. In the barracks, inside the barracks, how we had to live. We got pictures of all that in the one book. And the reason I'm explaining that is get the indoctrination and things put together. So the division that goes into training, then we have pictures of training where they had to do. And of course, the medics, we were different. We're called special troops. Special troops is medics, engineers, signal corps, the band, and headquarters company. That's the medics in an army, regular army. First of all is the medics. They top priority over everything. We don't have to obey any of the rules even with the MPs. Once you're a medic and you go someplace in an ambulance or something, you got that bazard on, you got the right of way over the mail. Because your job, you're going someplace to save somebody's life or sickness, and you don't get bothered. That was good all the way through the war, which was a break when people said, you have a record where you went to ball games and after the war was over and took people. I said, I was a taxi cab because I was a medic. I had an ambulance that was assigned to me and to a driver and a medical team. And any place we wanted to go, we went whenever damn wanted after the war. During that, we went from one division. I'd be with A Company, 253rd, maybe 2 or 3 days, till we got the wounded moved out. If there was another one, we went to B Company, C Company, K Company, wherever the accidents were. We went in. Nobody questioned it. We went in right on the line, got them, moved them out, took them back to, see, we were a collecting company. That's what they call as a collecting company that picks everybody up, the medics. Then you go to a clearing company. A, B, and C are collecting companies. D is a clearing company. That's where they start the first operations and stuff. And from there, you go to a field hospital, medical hospital, or to England, or back to the States flying, whatever it is, or to the boat in the harbor, the Red Cross. Yeah. That was our job. And I was 128 days from day to night. Slept a couple hours a day and busy wherever I had to go. And the only time is when I went back to the clearing company. I'd sit down, because the clearing company was always 3 or 4 miles, 5 miles back. Take a bath, take all my clothes off, put them in a bag, write my name on it. They went to the laundry. I might not get back to the clearing company for a week, and I'd go to the laundry and my number would be there and my stuff would be ready for me. That's the way we did things. In the meantime, if you were any longer, you did your own laundry and hang them out at night. And you learned how to do that. And then once a month we got rations, like beer and cigarettes, candy and stuff like that. The nice thing about the medics, I would go someplace where they had the infantry and field artillery was getting their rations today. And the guy would say, Doc, you need any rations? Yeah, you got some you can spare? Hell, I had cigarettes by the carton. I had all kinds of stuff. But cigarettes were valuable. They're worth $100 a pack
My goodness.
in the black market.
A pack or a carton?
No, a pack.
Wow.
But the boys had no problem with that. And whenever I went into a city, the Catholic nuns would come to me and offer me $400 or $500 cash if I would give them plasma and blood and medicine, because they didn't have any. I would give it to them, and I did for a while until I found out that you tell them I don't have any, how much you got? And they say, how much you want? You made a finger. Hell, they had all kinds of money. And all we had to do to send it home in the mail was to declare we were gambling and won it.
Chad had to go pee.
Hey, did you, kid? Hey, did you wipe your feet? Hey, you're wet, aren't you? Hey, yeah. You tell Bobby, get your towel and wipe your feet off.
Alright.
He's a little damp. But, I had to have some dental work done on my teeth, and I had, I had to have on my eye fixed, take glass out of this eye. Then I still have shrapnel right there. They didn't get it all out. And I was
Have a seat.
hit here, this
Get
here,
a chew toy.
this here across here.
Where are they?
Mended, and then I have shrapnel in my side here.
In on the table. So all those are separate wounds. Well, I know that you got shot through the wrist and into your side, and you were out picking somebody up at the time. You were holding a stretcher.
Yeah, and just like this, and the bullet came across here, and like this, and right
Bring all
across
those
here,
toys.
this right here, and it ended up going through this side here. And somebody said, well, you deserve a Purple Heart. And I said, bullshit, who do you think gives the Purple Hearts?
The medics.
I said, we needed help. We needed help. I was more concerned about helping people. I had this operation done here, and the colonel said to me, take a couple of days off and we'll send you back and send you down to Paris. Give you a little rest. And I looked at him and I saluted him and I said, sir, I'm going back on the line. I don't give a damn what you have. I got 20 guys up there that are dying. I'm not. I'm going to get them. And he said, you give him, tell me. I said, I don't give a damn what you do. You're not going to put me in jail. You can't do nothing about it. Come on, boys, we're going up. So,
And those 20 were the other medics?
no, men on the line that were hurt.
Okay.
Because when we evacuated the emergency stuff, I knew how many men were late and we were short. I said, call dispatch and send 3 or 4 more ambulances to help us. See what I mean? Well, guess what? The colonel made notes of that. And somebody said, you're going to catch hell. And I said, fine. I hope they send me back to the United States to jail. And guess what? I got Bronze Star for it. I got a Silver Star for taking the first German officer prisoner after the Siegfried Line. And I stopped the infantry from killing them. I kept them alive. And they wanted to kill me. I said, get out. The colonel said, keep them alive. And the guy was pointing a gun. I said, get out of here. I'll take my gun and I'll kill you. I don't care if you're infantry or not. Get out of here. We want to know some things. Well, we'll beat him up. I said, go back on the line. If you're that hot, go kill a dozen more. We want information from this officer, and we got it.
Oh, and you got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he was pretty bad off. So we put him to bed. And guess what? You know where his uniform is? In Urbana,
What's Urbana?
my home.
The city.
Oh.
Here,
So you guys uniform?
I got his uniform.
Including the SWAT stuff?
Everything. Got it all. And I packed it up and shipped it home. I got pictures of it here and stuff too. And we gave him a fatigue outfit to wear. He wanted to know. I said, we're protecting you because you put your uniform on, you'll get shot. And the colonel said, what'd you do that for? I said, be nice to him. He's a captain. Treat him real nice. Then someday just shake the shit out of him and make him talk again. Then tell him if he don't like it, he'll be killed. feed them good, be nice. And he talked a lot. He gave us a lot of information.
Like what?
Huh?
Like what?
Where's your outfit? What's the new plans? I mean, a captain in the SS Army had all kinds of plans. And once you got him, but you see, he was wounded, and they didn't think, as a medic, I was going to pick him up. But under Geneva Cross, I had to take friends and enemies, and I brought them in. And what they didn't know was there was a German machine gun nest about 500 yards away, and you know they had a gun aimed at me all the time until I picked up the guy and put him in the ambulance, gave him a shot and medicine, and they didn't touch us. And we got halfway away from there, and I met a major leading a bunch of infantry, and I said, circle around, up there's a pillbox, and we weren't going very far till I heard boom, 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 and he called field artillery and laid shells down around them. The infantry went in, and I said, don't kill them. What? I said, we need more information. So they come in, and they had them all strapped up, made them talk. Then they shot them. But you see, that's hard-heartedness. But I said before, and I'll say it again, and I won't take back water. General Patton taught me one thing. We leveled towns and killed men, women, and children. I'm not proud of it. Bring our boys home from Afghanistan and send 3 planes and level that country and get it over with, and put those boys on our border to protect us. Now, John Boehner is making a big issue that he wants those borders taken care of. He wants it cleared, and he wants it as soon as possible, because he's going to put a bill up in front of it. And if the president refuses it, he said, we'll talk with the Pentagon, the new boss, and he'll go against you, because we're not going to get 20 and 30 men killed outright by women and children, and you say, be nice to them. The hell with being nice to them. Forgive my language, but that's war. You wanted to know about war.
Yes.
And that's the way you do business. You clean them out. That's the way you do it. And what I always agreed with Bradley and Harris and all the generals that I worked with. And I could ask them any question they want. You know why they wanted to talk with me and other medics? We were just left a line. We know what was happening. How heavy are they? There's a hell of a bunch of them out there, Buck. I didn't count them. I wanted to get out and take the wounded. I got about 30 wounded up there, and all I got is about 10 medics getting ready to want to evacuate them. I need more ambulance. I can only take 3 litter cases and 2 walking wounded at a time on the ambulance. You need a couple of more up there. Well, let's go up there and move in on them. I said, oh no, take your time. Take a doctor up. Let them take care of them on the line till dark. Then move them all in. You go in there now with 3 ambulances, they'll surround you and they'll level our ambulances. Those guys know the war's coming to an end, and they're out to get every American. And as far as Geneva Cross is concerned, they didn't give 2 hoots in Honolulu. Kill us. That was the main thing you had to do.
You told me that several of your medics got shot in the back
20
of the head.
on George Washington's birthday after we crossed the Siegfried Line. That's when I gave an order, take your Geneva Cross card that you have to protect yourself, tear them up, start to pack. I was packing here. I had a gun under here and one under here with straps on. And somebody said, what are you going to do? If a guy has an accent, he was dead. It was either him or me. I came here to take care of my boys. And I told all the medics, anybody that's a medic that tries to give plasma and put a gun in the bag and so forth, or light a cigarette and try to take care of a fella. All you're doing is letting the enemy know where you're at, and he knows you got wounded, you're gonna stay there, and he'll kill you and them too. You take care of him on the ground. If he dies, he dies. It's either you, him, or the Germans. What are you gonna do? Wait till they fire the first shot, take it easy like you got us, and as soon as they move in, tell the infantry, level them. And we got wonderful awards, outstanding awards. The most efficient, have it there in one book, from the Corps headquarters, General and all said, the 63rd Blood and Fire Division is one of the greatest outfits that ever hit a war. We were together. But you know what? We were trained one thing. General Patton and Harris and the gang said, we didn't come over to play cards and gamble and run around with women and drink like you did in the First World War. We come over here to kill Germans. That's what we're going to do. We're going to free these people. They get in our way, live out men, women, and children. Tell them to get in their ranks of their people and go, or they're dead. You shoot about 100 of them, they said, hey, they mean it. And they go. They said, that was ruthless. Do you realize that from February, March, April, May, in 5 months, we went 500 miles and took Germany, ended in Berlin. We didn't play games. They said it'd take 2 years to do it. We did it in 5 months. And we kept moving. The only time I ever stopped at another ambulance that was shot was to steal parts. If I need tires or something, take them off, throw the other ones on the ground, take what we had. We stripped down and put it on our own places if it was in better shape than mine, but we took good care of it. And I've been blown out of my ambulance and had glass in this eye from the windshield, and I had the date, and they had to evacuate me because I had to go where a doctor could take care of it. And the doctor, the major, wanted me to lay up for a week or two, and I said, give me a patch, I'm going back. I got to take care of the boys. And Colonel Kill said, no use arguing with him. He's one of the best docs we have, and he's a medical surgical technician. I could operate on him, I was trained to do that. And I told the major, you got your damn medal on your shoulder because you knew somebody. I'm earning mine, and I don't want it. I came here to get this war over with. And he said, you know what we can do to you? I said, nothing. You're not going to do a damn thing with me? You can't even try to arrest me or something. Why? I said, every one of those boys standing there will shoot you dead. You lay a hand on me. I'm the medic that saves their ass. All my true. And he knew damn well I wasn't kidding. And my boys would do that. Because I seen officers give medics trouble, and guess what? They had an accident. You know, the poor devil's dead. What happened? He was arguing with the medic. Boom. Most important thing we got on the line is a medic. If I get hurt, a sergeant ain't going to help me. Colonel isn't going to help me. He don't know nothing about it. He might pray for me or hold me while I'm dying, but the medic says, I'll fix you up and get you out of here. And that was the job. And I'm proud of it.
Oh, absolutely. As well you should be. Absolutely. You got a lot of those guys home and kept us free. Thank you.
And I argued with a captain in Columbus one day. And I said, I understand you're in charge of the Purple Heart section for the hospital. He said, yeah. I said, you got a Purple Heart? He said, I got 2 of them. I said, that's fine. What'd you get them for? He said, my colonel gave them to me. I said, don't amount to a damn. He said, what are you talking about? I said, do you know what a 214D is? Never heard of one. I said, that's why I brought it over. What's it say? That's an EMT evacuation card. What does it say on it? Medic's code number. Self-inflicted by the enemy, sickness and death, wounded in battle, you put them down. Deserves recognition, Purple Heart. Once I put my initials on there and the number, he got a Purple Heart coming. Your colonel doesn't even know who you were. There was so many replacements all the time, they didn't know who the hell there was. You know how you found out who was with you? Went to company clerk and says, payday's coming, how many men we got? Well, we got 30, sir. We got 100 old ones and 30 new ones. We're going to have a deal and give out medals. We got EMT cards sent from the Surgeon General, says these guys earned this and that. Who are they? You call their name out and they'll salute you and pin them on them. And they sued him. Somebody said, oh, you new officer? You talking to me, soldier? Yeah. Well, I'm your officer. That's fine. I seen 100 of them. How long you going to be here till they replace you? We're going back on the line. And the boy said, hey, thanks for the crap. And they take them off and put them in their pocket. Says, all that is let the guy know I'm a hero, and the German sees it, I'm going to get a shot right through there. No way. Take them and stick them. I'll put them in my pocket. Either that or I'll take my coat off and put on my fatigues, put them in my duffel bag. You know, we weren't interested in all that crap. Now when it got down that the war was over and we had all those things, you dress them up like mine is in there. I put everything on that I had coming. And someone says, you look like you won the war yourself. I said, read my discharge. Where did I go? What did I do? Where's all my paperwork? I went to school after the war. Said, well, you were a first-class private. I said, so was all the medics when they started. You ever see how a medical battalion was put together? Everyone that was evacuating on the line was a medical surgical technician. I said, you know what the highest rank was in Company A? Was a buck sergeant. He had 80 men over him. I had 20 ambulances under me. I was a first class. And guess what everybody driving was? Was a first class. I was assigned. Then when I moved out, somebody else took over. But then at the end of the war, towards the end of the war, we were relieved 2 weeks before. That's when I went to Landsberg, to the concentration camp. And General Patton came in and he said, Doc, how many have we got here? We're going to do this. He said, how long you been here? I said, General, you're going to take credit for taking this place over, but we've been here for 4 days. He said, I'm going to get the men. I said, would you do me a favor? Go into town and get all the German men. What? Bring them over here? Make the son of a bitches dig the holes and bury our Jew people. And then shoot them and throw them in the hole. He said, that's a good idea. I said, your boys need a rest. Just let them guard, and if they make a move, shoot them, push them in the hole. He said, that's good. And guess what? He assigned me to his outfit, and I was with him. He sent me to school, and I ended up being a master sergeant, sergeant major.
Under Patton.
Mm-hmm.
And which POW camp was that?
Dakar, Landsberg. And someone said, when were you there? Here's the camp and all the pictures
Bobby.
of the camp. You see the barracks and all? The hospital and so forth. There's the training deals that we had. Now, Here's where we started. And where did we end?
Landsberg.
What's the date?
20 April 1945.
Who was there first?
You by 4 days.
Blood and fire. See what I mean? Now, people argued about it. Here was a man that talked about the truth. Here was one of our men in this month's magazine, a Blood and Fire magazine. We get them every month. He was talking about he got his award and where he started. You know where he started? Nancy Sagerman's. Where did he end up? Landsberg.
Same
And
as you.
he said there was a camp someplace here, but he wasn't a medic and he didn't go in. But he was in the surrounding area with the infantry. Now you see, all of those things, here's how we did things, loading people up on the line. There you are, every place we went. We had pictures of the medics. Now, see the boys there on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
That's typical. Couple of times a day. These are the most important things that I own right here. From the day I was in the service, where I went, every day, every move, every date, what happened on those dates, everything is right in here. And right down to the end. And then it has a history of where I went in training and went with General Patton. You see, Bob, people have to understand why we were read that last paragraph so Bobby can hear it.
Victory throughout the rest of the world lies across the Pacific. There, next, you take your blood and fire to settle the account with the Jap.
Now,
Time's a wasting.
You know what that means?
Yeah, the Japanese are next.
That's right. And those boys left. I didn't go. You know why? I wasn't with Blood and Fire anymore. I was with 3rd Army headquarters with Patton. And I thought I was well off. I had another year I had to work with him before I could go home. But I got a promotion, was treated royal, and had the run of the show. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and he also says what?
Time's a wasting to relearn lost skills, to mold new teammates to blood and fire pattern, to build upon your battle wisdom, and to set your eyes on the pay dirt that lies on the other side of the world, where the Jap ain't seen nothing yet, but where you're going to show him and the world's greatest team that ever went into battle. Major General Lewis Hibbs, commanding 63rd Division.
And you know, General Hibbs was a major when I met him at Van Dorn. 1 month he was a major, 2 months later he was a colonel, then he was a full colonel, and he was a brigadier general, and he was a major general, and all the boys were promoted, all the officers were promoted. My commanding officer was a captain when he came in, and he ended up being a full colonel. But he put the stuff together and trained the boys. And you see, everything I have is picture form here. Now, General Patton said when he came in, he told the truth. He came to Dakar and took over and shot most of the Germans that were left. And he helped 3 or 4 days to bury the dead, his division. We were there taking care of them and piling them up. And I had a German doctor that I met who was trained in the United States, was an American citizen. He was taken prisoner and put in that post to help. And he took me all around and showed me the whole camp and what happened, and showed me how everybody was burnt, and that's when I took the pictures of everything that I have. And General Patton said, the Blood and Fire says, he was there on the 30th. Now, Stars and Stripes says, General took credit. We didn't want to argue with him because he was the highest general in the Army over there at the time. But you weren't there. Blood and Fire was there 4 days before you were. And he said, we went in to help him. He didn't want to lie about it. We went in to help him. And he did. That's when he said, since your division went, you were assigned to the 100th, I took you out, I want you to go to headquarters with me. What am I going to tell the general? Is that what you want?
Saluting, yes, sir.
Oh yeah. I thought this is going to be good. I know I'll go home in a couple of weeks now. That wasn't his plan. He had my plans laid out for me. I was going to go to work for him, which I did. And I was happy to. And then when I went in, I said, sir, I never met you, but I think you're Omar Bradley. He said, yes, I am, Doc. He said, you're going to be working with us. And I saluted him and shook hands. He said, in here, you don't have to go through all that bullshit, this talk. You're one of the boys here. He said, the only time you salute me was when you're outside. All that stuff goes out the door. We're medics up here. He said, you're going to be in the medics. I want you to run the whole deal. And I said, okay, now what do you want me to do? He said, I want you to be in charge of the 3rd Army ambulances for 5 divisions. You're going to assign what they have to do. That's what I did. I damn near lost my job for doing that. Because when we had trouble with the Bulge, I told them, take the ambulances, 10 out of each company, and get to the Bulge and pick up the dead and put them in the ambulances and move them. General Patton said, who pulled that dumbass trick? Bradley said, I told Doc to do that. We're sending weapons carriers and jeeps out to bring the wounded. Why? He said, if the Germans ever knew they killed 1,600 of our men, they'd have wiped us out. And Dave said, put them in the ambulances, they won't shoot them. We got rid of our dead in 2 days, and we got wounded moved. And we said, we don't have enough men to protect us. If they move on us, we're going to be dead. And the general pulled at his hand and he said, dear Jesus, let's do away with the fog, get the Air Corps in here, and level them bastards as soon as you can level them. And the next morning, they said, everybody get under cover, and the Air Corps came over and bombed everything level. He says, now we can go to Berlin. That's the way it was. And when the general found out, he said, sir, now.
He said, sir, what? When the general found out, he said,
you did a good job. He said, let me tell you something, Doc. I have captains and colonels and majors under me. Not one of them thought enough to do what you did. And I said I had it all lined up before I asked Bradley if he thought it was practical, and he said, if you can do it, go ahead. And I saluted him. I said, I'll see you. We're ready to go. I got it all loaded up. He said, General finds out, you tell him who told you it was okay. So when Patton wanted to know who did it, who was the dumb imbecile that pulled this kind of a trick with the ambulance, Brad said, Dave did. What the hell did he do that for? I want to talk with him. And he said, you had more brains than my colonels and stuff. I said, that's what you sent me here to do.
Amen.
Now, sir, I asked the company clerk to make out a furlough for me. We just signed it. He said, no. I said, I want to go to Switzerland on leave. The war is over now. He said, you can go when you come back from Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary. You're going to take those presidents of those countries we had, protect them. You're going to take that whole team and go. And when you come back, you take the one Jeep to Mulhouse, France, and then I said, but there ain't no dates on here, sir, if you sign it. He said, don't you know how to write numbers? You want me to teach you? And I said, well, how much time do I have? He said, have a good time when you're ready to come back. How much time you got coming? I said, I got 2 years leave. He said, well, you going to take it all? I said, no. So after I was in, as soon as I left, I put some dates down. Then I had to change some of them because we were longer than we were. And then I had some of my boys that were allowed to go with me that's in that picture there. On the clock.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a dentist, a doctor, an x-ray technician. They were all my boys. And we went to Switzerland. We got off the train to Switzerland, and the man that's in the picture is the King of Belgium. And the Queen of Belgium was on the same train we were, and I thought she was a hussy because she had all kinds of fancy, what you got, Bob? Huh? Hey, Mommy. But you see, Bob, it's hard when somebody says, my kids, I want you to write a story about it. How do you write a story about what I did? I didn't do anything unusual. I was just lucky enough, because of my age and my position. How did I get in? How did I get in the medical battalion? Because I was an embalmer. And I had 2 years of apprenticeship in the States.
Your junior and senior year in high school, you had gone into the restorative arts.
That's right. And that's what helped me. And then from there, out of about 180 of my classmates who was on the same train, just me and another guy was a dental technician, were sent to Blanding, Florida, and we never got there. We were switched down on South Carolina to go to Van Dorn, Mississippi. We got in, and I got pictures there in one book of the train coming in.
So you
And I have pictures of actual pictures of me getting off the train in there. And that's when they said, you're going to be crowded in these barracks. Is that what you call barracks? The messed up things, you're going to clean them up, we're going to paint them, we're going to fix them up and make homes out of them because you guys are going to be here for maybe 6 or 8 months. Never figured it was going to be a year to the day. We had Christmas dinner. And everything was put in trucks and cars, loaded on the train, and guess what? We were heading for Fort Dix, Camp Shanks, and on the 1st of December or January, we were on the George Washington on our way to Europe.
Guys, she's tearing it up.
That's okay. We'll get
What
another
is it?
one. chew toy and throw toy.
No, but you see, Bob, anybody hears me talk like I'm some kind of a crazy nut that killed people all the time.
No.
I didn't go over there with that intention. I went to save people. But then when I found out if you wanted to live, you got to look over your shoulder. And if you got somebody that you know definitely is a German who's in a uniform, he's out to get you. I didn't say, hey, did you want to, something I could do for you? Other than kill you? Drop your gun? If he went to reach for anything, boom. Somebody said, well, you had Lugers and everything. I said, I got the best of everything, put them in a duffel bag, and I took them back to clearing company. And I had my duffel bag. And one day, I asked the general if he'd sign, I could send him home. And he gave me the permit. I sent him home.
And as far as having the best of everything, if you'd gotten caught with a Luger or something like that, they'd have shot you for it, wouldn't they?
Oh, yes.
So
But you know the gun I had under here?
it was a P something or other?
Huh?
What was the gun? You told me it was an officer's gun.
Yeah. From the German SS. Yeah. I was using German gun. You know why? Because when I got it, I found boxes of ammunition that fitted. A lot of guys had German guns, said, what the hell do we do about ammunition? I said, that's your problem. I got mine. And I had my pockets full. I was supposed to have medicine in them. I had boxes of stuff and stuff stored. And all I had to do was reach in and take them out. I'd never been without them. And somebody said, how many people did you kill? Shoot. I didn't kill too many. I shot a lot of them, wounded them. Shot their legs and arms and stuff off. But they died. I didn't kill them outright. The infantry shot them dead, made sieves out of them. I didn't. It was either them or me. Once you got them down, what the hell are they going to do? They can't do nothing. They can't move. I was worried about my men.
Amen.
Why don't you
You
just
can't keep
take
other
the
ones.
rifle?
Huh?
Why don't you just keep their rifles?
Rifle was too heavy, Tiger.
I only had 2 rifles that I kept, and I had them broken down. Had them boxed up. I paid a German guy that did woodwork, put them in a box for me, and ready to seal. Then I pounded the nails in front of the general, and he signed it, and there's a ticket on it. Took it to the orderly room, and he put it on the mail deal. Was sent back, and about a month later, my mother sent me a letter. Boxes have come, and your oldest brother wanted to open them up. And I told him, leave them alone. And my dad said, they're Dave's, he wants them at home. My oldest brother told Dad to go pound sand. When I come home, I said, who opened my box? Your brother had it, and I went up and I said, what did you take my guns for? He said, well, what the hell are you going to do with them? I wanted some relics of what you did. And I said, give me them. Give me them. No, he said, what are you going to do? I said, oh, you don't want to ask me that. I shot many men. You're my brother. You stole from me. You didn't ask for them. You went against Mom and Dad's order. I want the guns, or we're going to have a funeral. And I said, look what I got. And mine's loaded. He said, you're crazy. I said, yes, I am. You'll never steal from me again. And he never did.
Which brother was this?
Next to the oldest. The one on the end up there.
So, what type of German rifles were they?
The regular army, German army. And every one of them in the stock had a medal with a hole in them.
So they would
They could
not.
put them on top of a German truck and put them in a rivet, and they had them so that they could take big rolls of ammunition and use it like a machine gun until the thing burned out. And that's the one I wanted. And I gave them to my godson. I don't have any of my guns left. Gave them all to my family. But you see, Bob, other than the pictures, like everything you see in the
Guys,
books,
she's swallowing them.
She's fine.
Shrek, these are digestible for pets.
come here.
She's fine.
Hey, come over here. Come over here. Do I see you?
Tiger, in the wild, they bring down huge animals and eat them and digest it all. Okay? She's fine.
Hey, hey.
But she's not from the wild.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're a nice little kitty. Yes, kitty, kitty, kitty. Look at you. Yeah, look at you're spoiled, aren't you? What are you doing?
As well she should be.
You're gonna eat my hand?
Nah, she'll just lick you to death.
But what I started to tell you, there isn't anything in those books that I don't have pictures of up there on the shelf. I took pictures every place of everything, and even the prisoner and people on the ground and our prisoners in behind bars. I took all kinds of pictures, and I didn't have any trouble. You know how I got them developed?
How's that?
I take them in to have them developed, and my company commander and I were pals and officers who could do everything, and I'd say, Doc wants 2 sets of these pictures. And I took pictures of things that he wanted, and I'd give them to him, and I had a whole set, and I'd take them to the orderly room and put them in a big envelope, and seal them up and sign them, sign them and send them home. That's how I got them home. Somebody said, how did you get the stuff home?
Told you so.
She's fine.
What?
Oh, she's just got a little string there, and she coughed a little bit, and he was
Open her
concerned.
mouth and take it out.
Yeah, she's okay. Here, string. Yeah, she's okay.
Hey, I'm gonna bite your tail.
That's not the end that Dave wants. Dave wants the other end to pet.
Look at you. I'm yawning. Hey, buddy, you can come and stay with me. I teach you how to walk and go down. We'll start to kill all the cats in the neighborhood, okay? We'll run them up the trees and get those squirrels out of here too.
I think she'd be more inclined to get the squirrels.
Yeah,
She
actually,
gets along with cats.
yeah, actually, she does get along with cats.
Female dogs do. Males won't.
She's a good girl. Yes.
However,
Yes.
this one we took over to my grandma's house. I actually do like both cats and dogs, so I'm perfectly fine that my dog gets along with my cat.
At the Siegfried line, when piled the artillery in, and you said then they brought
The tunnels were half as big as this room, wide, for miles. And the pillboxes were about the same size, with openings, and they had guns in them, and they just exchanged, and there was guys that slept down there all the time, back and forth. Their job was to protect line, not nobody in Germany. And they said, they bragged about the Siegfried line, that was protecting Germany. And that's when our engineers said, oh, that's nice. Let's put a big hole in, we'll cover it up, leave our tanks and stuff go over it, all our equipment.
How'd they cover it with?
Just take dirt
Tanks.
any place outside and move it in. We had dozers and plows on them. You know, the engineers had everything you needed. Big trucks and all, and it took them, when the engineers decided to do something, it's like if they wanted to build a bridge, how long do you think it took us to build a bridge across the Rhine River? About 5 hours till they got it. They just haul them in, put them down, hook them up, and the next thing you know, you get a sign, go across. Everything was anchored. Then the next thing they do, start to build a real bridge next door to it, or repair the one that they knocked out. But we didn't leave anything stop us. That's why our engineers and all said, and the Corps engineer general said there's no army that was ever better in the United States than the Blood and Fire. We learned to do everything.
I figured that it was the front of the tanks that, because I know on the hedgerows that they had put like a bulldozer type thing to bust through the hedgerows, and so they already had experience with that.
You know how we did that? Get a handful of grenades and throw them up over the top. Boom, boom, boom. And if you didn't have any more shots, you say, let's go around and see what's there. Maybe a lot of them be lay there wounded, and other guys had guns laying on the ground, didn't realize, and they just say boom, boom, boom. And somebody go down and said, let's see what they got that's valuable. Guys were stealing their watches, and they'd steal our cigarettes and everything they could off of us, so we played the same game. It's win, lose, or draw. But you see, we're not playing a war like they're doing in Afghanistan. If go and talk to the enemy, to be nice to them, see if you can persuade them. And then you have these women come up and kill 7, 8, and 10 of our boys at a time. They'd only do that once with our outfit. You know what would happen? Let's go out the end of town, boys. Okay, now level the place. Let's go through, get a plow and open up. Let's go through. That's done. Anybody moves, shoot them. We didn't come here to play cards. We didn't come here to run around with women and drink. We can do that later. Right now, we got a war to win. And they did.
And go home. And not have them come over here.
But you see, someone says, you know, you talk a lot about this. Ain't nothing I can talk about that ain't in books that I can show you pictures of me standing in the middle of town we just got through blowing apart. Well, you got 3 other medics with you. Yeah. Did you think I was going into the town by myself? Why not? You had a gun. How many's in there? I don't know. How many's dead or pretended to be dead? If we thought he was moving, one of the 3 of us medics put a shot in him and say he ain't gonna move no more. It's either that or let him go by and they shoot you in the back.
Right.
And people say, you know, that's ruthless.
Yeah, but you came home.
Yeah.
That's right.
And a lot of the boys didn't. And sitting right behind you is 17 pages of 60,000 boys in the war, that replacements and all, with their cemeteries, the date they died, the time they died, and we have 3 cemeteries over there. And it took us 10 years to get that stuff put together. And I took mine to VFW Memorial Day and had the officers and the chaplains pray over the papers. And I said, you boys are here knowing certain guys that were members. I got thousands that I knew in my division, and here they are. And I had one guy says, well, we can't do that. And I said, the hell we can't. Tell me we can't. Where's the commander? He said, why can't we? Well, we're here to look after our men. I said, tell me, where did you fight? Was you out of the country? No, I was here. It's too bad. It's too bad, because if you was with me, you wouldn't be coming home. You got to be some kind of a crazy guy. You're not going to recognize the guys that made your life, and I was one of them. What, are you bragging about it? Sure did. I don't take no back seat for anybody. When somebody says, you talk back to officers and people today. No, I don't. I talk to them nice and say, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Why? I was taught how to do and respect people. You're going to stand in the way. Now, you have these women reporters that are over there running around the streets in Afghanistan talking to the women, say, well, we talked to the women that they said they had to protect themselves. They killed American soldiers. They come back and said it. You know what I would have said to them? Get that woman that was over there, ask her what she's doing, shoot her. You're out of your mind. She should have got the one that caused our death. No, the president said, be nice to them. You can't get close to him because he has 25 people every place he goes. You try to aim something at them, they'll kill you. You know how many people have been killed trying to kill the president? Ask the FBI and the Secret Service how many people have been killed that aren't reported trying to get the president. They've been arrested. They never got to prison. They had an accident before they got there. Now somebody's going to get them.
We might have another Lee Harvey Oswald even.
Well, I don't know, Bobby, how that's going to be.
Hey, Dave. It's kind of like at the time of the Kennedy assassination, everybody knows where they were, and 9/11, everybody knows where they were. At the time of December 7th, 1941, where were you?
When Pearl Harbor was,
On Sunday morning, yes.
I was conducting a funeral.
And you would have been a senior in high school at that time?
Mm-hmm.
And what they do? Somebody came in and said
It's on the radio. The president was speaking. I had it on the radio in the funeral coach. I left one of my embalmers drive the lead car with the preacher. I drove the funeral coach. There wasn't nobody going to get near a dead body that I was responsible getting them in the grave. That was my job.
I know you took that seriously, and I know it was done right.
You know something? I'm going to bite you. I'm going to bite you.
Get into here, Dave. She has nice soft ears.
You like that, don't you?
Oh yeah, she does.
Hey, you're a good girl, aren't you?
She
Aren't you a
is.
good girl? Yeah.
Oh, she was talking in the car.
Was she? Ruff, ruff, ruff.
No.
Hey, was she sleeping or dreaming?
I've only heard her voice once, and that was yesterday over at PetSmart when she was in a puppy class. And there was a boxer that was about 3 times her size that wasn't paying enough attention to her. She, ruff, ruff, ruff.
Hey,
She is so smart.
hey, it went that way.
I thought you liked me.
It went that way. She's very alert.
She is. She's a smart pup.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
How did you go over? You went over on a ship,
Yeah.
and I think you said it took
14 days.
14 days, and it took half that time coming back?
We took the longest route we could. You ever in a convoy of 300 boats?
No.
Every place you looked, there was a carrier or all the different boats of the Navy. And every once in a while, you thought a whale was out there. And guess what? Up came a submarine, took a count and went back down. They were looking to see if there was anything around. Now every once in a while, somebody'd say, hear the explosion? Yeah. Guess what happened? Submarine spotted a German boat. They blasted the hell out of them and went back down. Didn't want to give the position away. But all of our guns were loaded. There was no 24 hours a day. There was Navy men and Marines on those guns on our boat. I was on the George Washington. That's one of the biggest boats, USS America. Had 8 stories. And I'll tell you how it feels to get seasick and you'd like to jump overboard.
Ooh.
And somebody says, what are you laying there looking in the water? He says, he's just feeding the fish like everybody else.
Now that was mostly coming back.
No, I was sick going over.
You were sick going over.
I
okay.
figured how to get over it coming back.
How?
Get a hammock and put it from starboard to port side and let it hang this way. And the boat goes up and down, that stands still. Then if you got sick, you go down to the kitchen. I inspected the kitchen as a medic and get me a couple boxes of ice cream sandwiches and eat them. And somebody said, why? Because they go down easy, they come up easy. After you get so many of them, they don't come up anymore and you feel better. General Harris came in one day and he said, Doc, what do you do for seasickness? I said, I got just what you want. You got a hammock? No, I told him and I showed him what I was doing. I said, crawl up on that. Oh, what the hell? I said, crawl up on that and you can go to sleep and I'll give you some medicine. He said, what the hell is that? I said, ice cream sandwich. I said, eat it. He ate it. He said, tastes good. You want another one? Eat another one. He said, what are you trying to do? He said, you know, I feel better. I said, if you're going to throw up, it'll come up easy and you just take some more. And he says, you got a couple boxes of that? I said, I got to go down and get them out of the freezer. So the mess sergeant said, what are you doing with that? I said, I got boys that are seasick. And he said, well, what do you want me to do with the rest of them? Keep them. Don't tell the boys about it. Send them up to me. He said, well, that isn't what we use for seasickness. I said, you use whatever you want. You Navy boys. I'm an Army boy. That's what I'm going to do. And he said, General Harris was down here a while ago, and I said, he's sleeping right now. Where? I said, someplace on the boat. Then you know they had abandoned ship drill, and I come out with abandoned ship, and General Harris said, what are you doing with your helmet liner and your steel helmet on? You know what happened if you hit the water? And I said, yeah, I'll drown, it'll kill me. He said, what, are you seasick? I said, what the hell do you think you were? And he said, that's when he said, what are you doing to get over it? I said, I'm working on it. He said, I'll be down to see you, Doc. He said, what are you doing? Get in the hammock and I'll get you something. He said, where'd you learn to do that? I said, I found out after I had it, I couldn't eat. I said, I can't go in that kitchen and eat. You got to stand up eating, you know, on those big long tables. And I said, some guy throws up and the next thing you know it goes by you and you close your eyes and said, I ain't hungry anymore. And I said, I learned that I don't go down there to eat unless I can sit down someplace. I'll go and inspect the kitchen and have something good. But that's what I liked about the medics. And I tell people, if you're ever going in the service, get in special troops and go to the medics. Study that medical book with the scouts I gave you. If you ever had to get drafted or go in the service, tell them I learned medics in the scouts. I have my own manual. You're going to go to the medics. But you got to learn to take care of things that are bad.
Like, for instance, if someone's leg has been ripped open by bullet fire,
You just
light on a cigarette.
You almost said what I was going to say.
What?
You got a guy that his leg is cut from here around, has no connections, and you just put a tourniquet on, he's going to lose it. And you encourage him with morphine, but he's going to make it. And while he's asleep, I cut it off and laid the leg beside him, covered it up. And the next thing I know, I'm in the clearing company, and I find out he was operated on, had his leg taken up. He walked in, he said, "You know, Doc, what they did to me here?" And I said, "No, what did they do?" He said, "They took part of my leg. They couldn't save it. You tried to save it." And I said, "They did?" I walked away. I was the guy that did it.
So
I
do
knew
you,
I knew they couldn't connect it. Bones and all were broken. You can't pull miracles. You know, if I'd left it that way, he'd have died. Had the arteries that were going down halfway, he'd have bled to death. So I whacked it off and sewed it up.
And put the tourniquet where?
Put it up here, above the wound. I didn't want anything to go down there.
So
And I
that,
tried my best to sew it the best I could.
so then, when did they have to make a separate incision and take it at the knee?
The doctors did that. Lots of times when they were short doctors, I stayed and helped them.
Now, we covered getting shot through the hand and into the side. We covered the glass from the ambulance. Was that a shell? You said you were blown out of the ambulance?
A shell came through and blew the
Windshield.
windshield apart.
Okay. All right. Well,
The biggest part of it flew all over us. And I mean, you're sitting there not expecting it, and I had glass all over me.
Okay.
So all I did was squeeze my eyes, and I said to the driver, "Get some alcohol and clean this mess off my face." And he said, "Dave, you got a lot of glass in your eye. What do you do?" I said, "Take me back to collecting right away." And he said, "What?" I said, "I'm going to hold this." I went in, and Captain Courtney said, he gave me a shot over here. "You see a little hole on this side of my eye?"
Uh-huh.
He went in there and cleaned that all out. And I have an implant there.
But it saved the eye.
Yeah. Ain't worth
Wow.
a damn anymore now, but
And then what happened with the heel? That was a separate wound.
pull his stalk down. Right there, under your hand. You see that white? No. Pull the stalk clear down. You see a mark?
Uh-huh. Right
That's
there.
it. Still has shrapnel in it.
German?
Yeah, it's up against the nerve. And they said if you move it, leave it that way, as long as it, I can move it that way. I don't want that nerve to ruin my feet.
Right.
And it healed up. And then I had one doctor say, "I can correct that for you." And I said, "It's healed up, Doc, let it alone, I don't care. Ain't causing me no trouble." He said, "Well," I said, "I'm not trying to pass any beauty contest, so I don't care whether I'm hurt there or not." And I said, "I got this hole in my side." And I said, he said, "Let me see that. We can do some restorative on it." I said, Nobody ain't taking my pants off to show nobody nothing." I said, "Just take care of this." And they did. And this. And I had my doctor, primary doctor, who I'm going to see in a couple of days, said, "They did a good job on you." I said, "Sure." I said, "Colonel Paul Kill himself, the chief surgeon of the Third Army, did that for me. He's one of the best there was." I said, "I seen him crawl for a minefield
Oh my God.
on his hands and legs and take a man out and pulled him up over his back and crawled back out. Nobody would go in after him. Paul Kill did. He was a colonel. He just died last summer. He's in the death list. Everybody that died. Is my Bobby, get the 63rd magazine down there once that I had.
Which is the white one? On the top of the stack there.
This?
Yes. Hand that to Mr. Tercel.
Here's the recent deaths. Look for May 10th, 363rd blood. I got it checked off. Arthur Pinkerton. Pinkham.
Yep.
See him?
Yep.
363rd.
Yep.
He was my surgical technician. He lasted till May of this year.
363.
He's sitting two men over to the right in the first row, and I'm in the third row of our pictures of the company commander sitting beside Colonel Keel. He was a good man.
He saved
Where's
a
he
good man
from?
too.
Where was he from?
Does not say.
Oh, I have it in the other book. He was from Boston. I got a list of all of them there. Just set it up on top.
Hey Dave, quick question, but
Mr. Torso.
Mr.
It's
Torcel,
all right. You can go.
but does Bluffton College happen to have a ROTC program?
Now you know I can't answer that. I never asked them. I wouldn't be a bit surprised that they had at one time. The closest one to here was Bowling Green.
All
And
right.
Finley had one, but I don't know about Bluffton. I don't think Lime ever had it. But I know that Bowling Green did. They had a Navy B deal with 30 planes up there in World War II and so forth.
Nice.
He would like to go military. And I'm encouraging him to go to college and
Once you go into the reserve, and then you go into active duty, and in reserve, they'll pay for your college, and they give you a choice what you want to do. You go. And then after you come out, you know what your punishment is? You're going to get an officer's rank for learning to be an officer. And then you make the good money. But don't forget what an officer does. You're the guy that's right out front saying, "Come on, boys, with me." "That's all right, sir. I'll see you later. You come right now or I'll put a bullet through your head." But they pay you good money. And a lot of those don't ever come back because they have to be the boss. How about it, kid? Hmm?
well, he is a patriot,
Trust
as
just-
are you.
But you see, Bob, when different people that have asked me questions about things, how come you know about this and you know about that? It's like I told you and your family. When someone says to my kids, "I think that your dad does a lot of talking," it's bullshit. How many people does he know in the States? And my kid says, anybody he told you he knows, he got a letter from or it's hanging on the wall. Don't forget he had all 88 counties for 27 years. Did you think he walked in and said, "Don't you have a name? I don't want to know it"? He knew a lot of people. A lot of them are dead. Same way in the Army. You know, I was the places, when you went, like in my book, I went to A Company. I was assigned to 253rd Infantry Regiment. assigned. You know what that means? That regiment, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Any of the companies that needed help, I had to, like the other boys did. I was assigned to 253rd. To the end of the war, I was working 253rd, 254th, and 255th. They were short. Wherever they needed people, we went. I had officers say, where are you working? Where are you going next? I'm going over here. Well, I need you up here. I know where there's 5 guys that need my help. I told you I would go pound sand, sir. I'm going to go get them. Send somebody else. I know where they're at. I can save them. Well, I told you I don't give a damn what you said. Do what you want. I'm going. You ain't going to arrest me. Ain't going to do nothing about it. You do, my boys will shoot you. I'm going out and get him. Send somebody else. What's he doing? He's on rest. Send him out. Well, he just came in. He was over at K Company. He's been out 2 days. He's due a rest. Wake him up and send him out. His job's to take care of him. He can sleep later. I haven't slept for 2 days, but I know where there's 5 guys I can save. And sir, I'm going to get them. I don't care what you think. And every once in a while I use a little language. You can go pound sand, or I give them a signal. You can do this. I'm going. Well, now wait a minute. I'm going. Just shut up. I'm leaving. And he would say to the driver, you know what I said? He said, I'm doing what the medic tells me to do. You're just an officer. We don't give a shit about you. And that was it. Our job's to bring the wounded in. Well, I'll make a note of that. He says, you do that. A lot of officers make a lot of notes. Is that all you got to do is make notes? Why don't you put a bazaar on and go out and give us? We can use litter bearers. I lost 3 yesterday. We can use somebody out. You're sitting on your ass, you can come out and help us. And he walks away, no more. All you have to do is tell him, you want to go on the line and help us? Oh, no. I'm an officer, you go. That's fine. I didn't take any of their guff. And when I come in was wore out, somebody'd say, can you take a run? I can, but I'm not going to. I've been 3 days working and I'm ready to pass out. I'm going to take a sleep. I take a morphine, put in me and said, I'll see you when I wake up. That's it. And Colonel Kill would say, when my men work, they work 2 and 3 days without rest. Don't start telling them what to do. As soon as they get up, you don't have to tell them. They know. They'll go and ask somebody, where's the most casualties? That's where we're going. Over there's no action. We ain't going over there to rest. We're going where the trouble is. That's what they pay me to do.
Medics.
Not in the rear. He was right up front. Right up front, on the firing line.
That's where we go.
And don't you guys also get armed?
Not supposed to. It's against the Geneva Convention. I was armed. I told you. After they shot 20 of my medics through the back of the head, Siegfried Line, I said, take the Geneva Cross and stick it. I armed. I said, I'm going. Pound sand. It's me or them. Bobby, if somebody said, you know, you can go out there and sit down and rest, or you can go out there and get shot. You want a gun to protect yourself? What are you going to say? I'm going out there and sleep. Give me the gun. Let him make a move. The guy makes the first move, reaches for something, he's dead.
Right. And then you don't have to worry about him, so just take his stuff,
And
stick it in your
leave.
pocket.
I never bothered to go. I didn't like their cigarettes, and I took the guns that I wanted or ammunition, let them go. Because I could wait till the next guy in the next field we was in. If he's dead, I could get another one. I had a whole bunch of them one time, and I found out if I brought them back, I had civilians that wanted to buy them $30, $40 a piece. How many you want? I send the money home. I sent $10,000, $12,000 home while I was overseas. was all legitimate, had officers sign that they were used in the war and had no further use. The guy that was assigned to it was dead, so what are you worrying about? Who am I going to turn it over to? Am I going to call Hitler and say, got a handful of your guns, you want to come and get them? Come on, get them.
Ammunition first.
Oh, what would you have done if you saw Hitler on the battlefield?
I'd have done the same thing as anybody else, shot him. It wouldn't happen.
I'm talking about after the battle. Would you have...
He never was in the battle. He was always up in Berlin giving orders. He had a radio and everything. He didn't have to go out. When he went to inspect the troops, was some place that was 30 miles from the line, and he had boys line up and talk to them a little bit, and then he'd send them on, get another group. Oh, don't worry, those big top boys don't go anyplace. I was with the division. The only general that was well known, George Patton, he was with us on the front line every place we needed. You showed pictures in the Patton story of him directing traffic.
I remember
George
that.
Patton took care of his men. I put you over here. I trained you how to do it. I'm going to show you. Come on, let's go, boys. You get coward, you know what's going to happen? I'll shoot you. I got to have somebody to help me. If you don't want to go, you're dead.
Want to know something, Mr. Torcell? I would have been the first to follow.
Oh, don't worry. When I didn't have an officer around, I was in charge. I was a medic. You know why I was so proud? Every infantryman loved me. I had a bizarre, had a medic hat on. You know what that meant? If I get hurt, he's the guy that's going to save me. Not my buddies here. He's trained to save me. Anybody bothers him, I'm going to get him. Because if he's down and I get hurt, what happens? I can die. He'll take care of me. Or he'll get somebody to do it for me. That's what I liked about it. And I'll tell you, any good infantryman you've met since the war, and ask him, who were you the proudest of?
The medics.
The doc, and I see a lot of the boys down at the hospital. I see your hand is, you lost a couple fingers and you lost part of your leg. Who do you give credit for? I'd be dead if it wouldn't have been for the medic helping me. I love him. And I said, what'd you do to protect him? Anybody got near our medics, we shot the son of a bitch. Just what he answered me. I said, what? It was either them or us. You know, once you don't have him, where do you go? You're bad, sick, and gonna die. You go to the hospital and they said the doctor ain't here. What do?
Go to the medic.
No, you're right here. Let's say in town. You find another doctor, hope you can make it. That's all you do. It sounds like all you're doing is patting yourself on the shoulder. But you see, Bobby, that's what I was trained to do. And I said my prayers every night. Thank God I'm here today. I hope I make it through tomorrow. And you don't know how many guys I had in my arms and said their prayers for them. And they died in my arms.
That's got to be really scary.
No, I was used to death. I worked with dead people. You think I was going to leave a man there that was crying for his mom and dad, walk away from him? I stayed with him till he's done. I did all I could do for him. Then I took the next guy and the next guy. When you have 3 or 4 of them in a row, you know what you do? You go over by a tree and sit and cry. Then you clean your eyes out and start all over again. You save them if you can. That's what you were there for. And when somebody said you're having trouble, you could shoot somebody doing someplace. They shot 5 of my boys. My eyes on. I'm going to say, hey, fella, please don't aim at me. You reach for a gun and you're dead. This quick. I won't ask no questions. I had automatic pistols. And like this, I go like this. That's it. Put it back in later on, fill it up again. And then I threw up, I got sick, I prayed. I learned to pray to God a lot. He said, I don't know why he's keeping me here now.
I think I know.
But I want you to understand, and I started to say, when you know people and have, but I've got, look at barrels and piles of records. I got to destroy them. People say, save them. Don't you want to write a book? I don't care if nobody writes a book about anything. God let me live this long. I raised my family. They're all professional and educated. What else can I do?
I've told you before, thank you, Dave. Thank you for everything.
Well, I got into different businesses. And what? I have 11 in my family. There's only 3 of us left. 2 girls and I'm the only boy. I buried them all. Some of them were worthless in my book, lazy. And some of us, 2 of us in that picture up there, and one over in that picture, made millions of dollars. But they did things, they were busy. My oldest brother had 10,000 people working for him at one time. Piper Aircraft. He was part owner. He started it. He was good. He left millions of dollars back in that drawer. I was left with his money and his orders. You'd be surprised what he gave to people. He gave to our library, gave to the hospital, he gave to the Catholic, the Presbyterian, the Methodist, and the Lutheran Church. He gave to all of the veterans organizations. He had millions of dollars. He gave everything away that way. We put $125,000. I wrote a check for the memorial. Your dad has a picture he gave me, Piper Aircraft building. That's our memorial in that town. Piper Aircraft, we sold. That building where they started is the memorial to the company. My brother put the money up. We owned that building outright, and it became part of Piper Aircraft. When Piper Aircraft moved, that was still our family building, and Bill Piper Jr. But you see, a lot of people wouldn't understand when you started to talk about this, and I don't like to.
I know you don't, but I appreciate the fact that you have.
But you see, Bobby, I want you to be, as I told you, be a good listener and don't let things upset you. You can go and cry when you have to, by yourself. But once you decide to do a job and someone asks you, you carry it out. If you're not going to. Why am I so guffy towards Army officers? Most of them had friends, a lot of them, that got degrees. They got things because they were in the Army Reserve, and they went out, and they thought they were the big shot.
You aren't.
And I have a first lieutenant or second lieutenant say to me, I want you to go over there. I'm going over here. You know who you're talking to? Yeah, some asshole trying to tell me something. I got a job to do. I'm going.
Lives depended on it.
And he says, you know what I could do? You ain't going to do nothing.
Because those boys will shoot
And
you.
I said, tell you something. If they don't, I will. I'm going out. I came here to sing. That's my job. You sit down and fill out paperwork and go drink someplace, run around with your girlfriends. I don't care about it. Well, you know what I can do? Do whatever you want. I'm not concerned. I got about 5 officers are going to turn me in to the provost marshal. And you know what he'll say when he turns him in? See a medic? You dumbass. He don't have to listen. You don't have to listen. He don't have to listen to you. He's out saving the job. You don't have anything better to do? You get out of the way. Or I'll send you back to the States. Provost marshal can do that. And the guy said, you don't know who you're talking to. Well, you don't know who you're talking to. I put cuffs on you, put you on the next plane, you'll be back to, you know where Leavenworth is? That's the prison, United States. How would you like to go there for about 10 years for giving me guff? Or maybe I'll send you anyhow for 5 years you need to be cooled down. You're leaving that go to your head. Don't start telling the medics how to run the show. They're the boys that are keeping our boys fixed up. You know what happens when half of the boys come out of the hospital? They want to go back to their outfit because their buddies are in danger and they want to go back and help them. They were good soldiers. You'd be surprised. You hear every day about boys that have had the 2 and 3 trips to Afghanistan and other places. They got wounded. They come home, got well. What did they do?
Go
Went
back.
back.
Back to help the boys because they love their buddies. They know the rules. And they ask, who do you like the most in your outfit? Who's the doc? He's the guy I want to know.
Hey Dave, tell Bobby about meeting Eisenhower.
No,
I've already heard about that.
I love that story.
he gave me a rough time.
You don't like Ike.
He gave it back to him too.
But you know who helped me on that?
Patton and Bradley.
You know what Brad said to him?
What?
Ike, we all went to school together. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Out of here. You're not going to bother him at all. He works for us. You go back to Paris with your girlfriend. We came to win a war. You thought it was over when we hit the Siegfried line. That was just the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the end. Take a walk. He says, you can't talk to me that way. Would you like to walk out or go out on a stretcher? You have your choice. And he said, well, we'll see you later. He said, and Patton said, I don't care a damn if you never come back.
I knew there was bad blood between Patton and Eisenhower. I didn't know why.
But I can tell you something. Afterwards, I said, you having any problems with the general? And he's a blankety blank, and all was this. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't really give a damn about him. If I ever meet his wife, I'm going to tell her how rotten the SOB is.
You mean Eleanor?
I don't know what his wife's name was.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
That was Roosevelt. I didn't like him. I voted for him, my first vote I ever did, but I never voted for him after the first vote.
He was actually a womanizer.
Well, he had one. I don't know how many more he had.
Several.
My best buddy was a good Mason. I liked. The man that gave me the presidential citation in my combat medics.
Guys, is the puppy alright?
She's fine. She's fine. She's asleep. You're
Truman.
talking about Truman.
Harry Truman. He was a Democrat. I loved the guy. Me and I were pals.
They became 33rds together.
You see, I got those things out one day and spent 4 hours reading every one of them through and the memories. I made a note in my notebook there. I went through, you know what I was trying to do was a crazy thing. I have in my files all the members of my organization. And I was trying to remember their ambulance numbers. Mine was number 3. The colonel's was number 1. The head of the medical battalion. And the chaplain's was number 2. Mine was number 3 and went up to 20. And you know, I got over half of them. You know how I figured? I looked at my notes. I left Company A today, was relieved today to go back to clearing, and Burns replaced me. And I had behind it A8. I got all of those I could find, and I thought, what's Ingenito doing in there? He was riding with Paparello, and I remember Ingenito was a T5. No, a sergeant. They broke him down to a T5. I don't know what he did, but rather than send him home after he was trained, they broke him down, and he was put on an ambulance. But he was a good friend, Italian boy. And the last time I talked with him after the war, he had married a whack, and they had a child, and I think that's what they were arguing about. He wasn't supposed to be running around with a whack, and he married the girl, and she was a lovely girl. I met her. And he died of cancer about 5 years ago.
Ooh.
Dominic Ingenito. He was from Brooklyn, New York.
What's a whack?
Wave,
Women's Air Corps.
Women's Air Corps. A wave was a women Navy, and a spar is an Air Corps woman.
A lot of times they'd have the men were needed so much at the front that they would have women working with the planes and even flying the planes over to the men so that they could fly them in combat.
Air Corps did that.
Dave, the concentration camp, the Dachau, when you first found out about that, tell me about that as far as...
Here was a big camp, all encased in wood and brick. And I had just got in Landsberg, and they wanted us to go to rest. I didn't know why we were going to rest, but they were sorting out to go take 63rd, had done their job to go to Japan. And Colonel said, work with 255th, 254th today. 253rd is going to be relieved today. You're going to be going over there. So we came to this camp. There's a railroad in it. And boys decided they were going to take it over, see what was on the other side. So they blew the gate. And the Germans inside all put their hands up. They quit because they seen American soldiers. And I walked in with the infantry. I was a medic with them. And there was a couple more medics of mine that were with me, the team. And we just stayed there.
So how did you guys determine who got the flags?
I took the flag down. I'm going to send that home. I'm going to send that to the general. And then I found 2 flags, and I said, one to the general and the other one I put in my duffel bag, and I said, thanks, Dave. Now just keep it out of sight. You can't show it to anybody. If they catch me with a German flag in my duffel bag, some guy's going to say, he's a spy, shoot the SOB. And the boys, the way they were trigger happy, my Bizarre wouldn't meant anything with a German flag. So I had it on the bottom of the bag. And I kept it there, and I had it all wrapped up in paper. And I kept it. It's
And that's the one you've seen.
60-some years old. I don't even tell anybody I got it, other than it's in my notes and where I got it and when I got it. I don't care what happens now to it.
So
I'm gonna give it to my grandson, cause he wants it. He's got the uniforms and the guns and stuff, so he can have it.
however, so if you were to run across one of the Iraqi flags these days,
I wouldn't any part of it. It don't mean nothing to me. I didn't have anything to do with Iraq. That's somebody else's war. I had all I could handle with mine. I don't want no more.
So when you went walking in to the concentration camp and they surrendered, what happened next?
I just looked around and cried a little bit. There was little children piled up like wood piles from here over to the next place that have been ready to go into to be buried and so forth. I wasn't worried about being hurt. Hell, I had 5 or 6 medics, or 5 or 6 infantry on each side of me. We all went in together. They all had guns. I wasn't worried about it. Let somebody shoot in, they wouldn't have made it. I might have had a shot come through, but I'll tell you, whoever was crazy enough to shoot, those Germans knew the game was up. They'd been big shots and killing people for years, and most of them were nuts anyhow. Anybody had to go crazy that could put up with that stuff. And all I figured was, let's go find out where the live ones are. What can I do to help them? That's when I gave an order. Don't anybody feed them. You'll kill them. Give them water. Let them smoke. Let them chew gum. If you've got a candy bar, let them have. Don't give them any food. That hit their stomach. Most of them were just skin and bones. I got pictures of them, and you see them by the piles. I got pictures of them. Then we took them out. Some of them didn't even have shoes or anything. So I told them, go and see that these German boys get shoes. Go over in that pile where they have shoes. Let them get a pair that'll fit the guy. Put them on. Give them some clothes in the clothes pile. Let them dress. Help them. Take them down to the shower and shower them so they're clean. Some of them hadn't had a shower in weeks or months. And spray them and clean them. And a lot of them wanted to leave the camp. I said, you go out on the street, you'll get shot. Stay here. We'll take you away. Then in ordnance and quartermaster came in with food and all for them, and they trucked them and took them to a reception center for recovery and took care of them.
Bobby was asking me what a DP was, a displaced person. So a lot of them were displaced persons at that point, like we talked about.
You see, I really don't like to talk much about it. It brings back memories I'm trying to forget about. And I have pretty well done that. And
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, brother.
you see what
Thank
time
you.
it is?
9 o'clock.
Mama wants you to get home. You
Yes,
got
sir.
2 hours,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
and I
need to go
appreciate
on.
your coming.
Well, I appreciate your talking openly, because it's important that he know, because he will run across possibly some of these circumstances with him wanting to go military, and it was very important that he understands
long
that
as
it's
you-
not a game.
As long as I told you, and I tell you, keep quiet. Just know it. You know, if you talk to some of the boys today, what I'm telling you, they have never encountered this kind of stuff. They're trained entirely different. They got different kind of guns. They all got radios and picture and phones and so forth. We didn't have that kind of stuff. Everything was down to it. We had a radio if somebody didn't cut the line. I never counted on them.
Some things change, but many things stay the same.
And
You rely on the man next to you,
you know what happens
and you
if
put as much lead going that way as possible.
if you got into the service, you realize things that you can understand could happen, you just keep your mouth shut and do what's right and get in good with the company clerk, the first sergeant, or one of the officers. And they like you. That's when you move up the line or you get a deal. Because the guy that's a big know-it-all and a big show-it-off, he's on KP. He got all the assignments that nobody else wants. I didn't have those problems. I was a medic. I didn't even have to walk guard duty.
Do what's right.
You just listen. Someone says, you know, Bobby's a pretty smart boy. He anticipates he always got an answer for something, helps you out. Almost like he knew what it was about. If you did, you kept it to yourself. You know what? You know what the other boys say? Stick next to him, he's no dummy. I hope he gets promoted. I could work with a guy like him, 'cause he ain't dumb. He gets things done. He always got a good answer. They didn't know nothing. You have a lot of people that never graduated from school, don't know straight up. They do a lot of shooting off their mouth. They're the first ones to either get shot or they leave the service or they fall flat on their face. They never get a promotion because they can't do anything. They're dumber than rat cheese.
What's my favorite line from the Patton movie? Your responsibility is not to die for your country. Your responsibility is make the other poor dumb son of a bitch die for his.
That's right.
Your responsibility is to come home, mister. Fight and keep us free, but you come home.
And that's what Patton told the boys at the Siegfried line. Let's get this damn thing over. Wipe them out. I am ready to retire. I want to go home. You guys didn't even want to come. If you want to go home, let's fight like hell and get it over with. We're going to Berlin. And when that happens, it's over with. We're going to get the hell out of here. 'Cause I know I'm going. He never did. He was killed first. He died over there.
Car crash.
Yeah. I was with him when he died. He's a wonderful man.
He was
Yes.
with him when he died. He didn't hear about it. He was with him.
I was just like this. This is what I wanted of his. His pup. 'Cause I walked him with him at night. And I asked Mrs. Patton, what about the dog? She said, George Jr. wants him. And I said, wonderful. Do you get along with the dog? And I said, yeah, I know him. That's all I said. Wasn't going to argue about a damn thing. She told me where it was. I asked the question, I got the answer. No matter where I was, I snapped my finger, that dog was right there. 'Cause he knew I was the boss's pal. And when the boss was busy doing something, he'd say, take little George out. He called him little George. I'd take him for a walk.
What breed?
One of the German Walmerheiser, whatever you call him.
Weimaraner?
Yeah.
Something along that
And I said to him, is he a good watchdog? He said, I love him. He's dumber than hell and he's a coward. He's a coward. He's dumber than hell. He's afraid. Somehow the dog barks, he shivers. But he said, he's my buddy.
It's the
And
only coward Pat
I said,
put up with.
what would happen? Somebody came after you. He said, I'd have to tell him, sick him, and he'd look up at me, what's that mean? He said, he's just a lovable dog, and anytime he wanted him, he was laying on the boss's feet under the desk. He says, I know where he's at all the time, and whenever he gets up, I know he wants to pee, so take him for a walk. But you see, after you got to know a general like him, one of the best in the world, he was down to earth, he was a good man, but he never went to bed at night. They didn't open his Bible and read something. He'd just open it any place, put his hands down and read it and close it up and bless himself and go to sleep.
So where exactly would the generals tend to be at?
Huh?
He told you, most of the generals were behind the lines, but Patton led from the front.
So wouldn't Patton risk a sniper?
Huh?
Wouldn't Patton have to risk snipers?
You don't risk no snipers.
Risk.
Oh, risk.
Risk.
Well, yeah, that's the game you play. I had them around me all the time. But I'll tell you something. When the Patton was out someplace, don't forget, he had majors and lieutenants and colonels beside him with infantrymen, and anybody got too close that they thought would bother the general. They didn't ask any questions. In Germany, they shot him. Anybody got close enough to top brass, they were dead. That guy, if he got away, go and tell his top deal, guess where the chief of the army is? He's just over the field there. Well, hell, they'd bomb him, artillery, anything, send tanks in. It was bad, but Ike, he was a fraidy cat. He was running around with women. But Brad and Patton, no, they were out on the line, did a job.
Trust me, if I were to have been in their shoes, I probably would have done the same thing if possible.
That's what you do.
She's
Look
got
at
you,
you.
Dave.
Hey, Baba, what do you think, Baba? Hmm?
You have finals this week. I've got to get you home.
And your mother wants to make sure, because I'm gonna